morning, everyone.
Good morning. Happy New Year.
Happy New
Happy
Year
New
to you as
Year.
well. And with the new year, it looks, I see people chatting while Stacy and I were in the green room. So I'm guessing that has been an
Love
update
that.
to this green room, or as I did have the lobby open for everyone. I'm wondering, were you all able to talk to each other, or was it just chat? Anybody?
Looked like it was just chat.
Okay.
Yeah, everything
Okay.
else was blocked.
Okay.
I couldn't unmute.
Okay. And then I'm guessing you were staring at the starting soon message or something like that, the standard green
Yep.
room message. Okay. It's still cool that you were able to
Yeah.
chat. So yeah, we're seeing the evolution of this thing. So a green room, Stacy and I were talking in the green room. You guys were at least able to chat as attendees here. I wonder what would have happened if you all were presenters as opposed to attendees. That might have been an interesting experiment. But
Mm-hmm.
anyway, awesome. So just checking here. We got a good number here, so we can definitely jump into this. Hopefully everybody can see my screen share and see me and Stacy. Was that so I'm just looking at the chat. Was that a Teams premium feature? I don't think so. I don't think Stacy and I have Teams premium internally. So
Yeah, I don't think so either.
yeah. So my thought was it was a uh, green and the evolution of the green room experiences was my thought. So, but in any case, again, welcome everybody. Cute for Teams, champions using Teams effectively. Happy New Year. If we do have any new folks in the room, which as I'm glancing, I think it's the usual suspects. But otherwise, this is where we come and just talk about Teams, bring your questions, best practices, all that good stuff. And Stacy and I try to help answer those questions if we can, and just geek out on Teams together. So
Yeah. Sometimes you guys answer each other's questions. So
right, absolutely. So I had a couple of kind of little best practice conversations to start with you all, but before I do that, just want to let you either come off mute, use the chat if you came with a burning question or comment or thought or anything that you want to share. Now's the time to do that. So yeah, anybody come with a question they were hoping to get answered? Okay. We're starting fresh for the new year. I get it. So speaking of the new year, one of the things I was just thinking about, because I'm certainly coming off, this is my first week back from a 2-week vacation. And upon coming back, there's a couple things that I did, and you probably do as well, in terms of coming back to work and kind of getting things together again. Some of our teams and our Office 365 related. I just thought I'd share those and give you an opportunity to share others as well. But a couple things I did here is, and we may have talked a little bit about this before, but I make use often of my status message in Teams. So it's certainly something that you could leave blank. It will certainly update itself per your out of office settings in Outlook. So it will duplicate that out of office message. So from that perspective, it's good. But I do use it to manually put messages in as well. And so when I came back, I did put, I've been out for 2 weeks. Help me help you, get back on track. Basically, letting people know that I have been out. I've probably forgotten about whatever, we were doing 2 weeks ago. So I put that there. I checked the box to show when people message me. let me just put something in here. And then I have a clear status. Obviously, there's different things I could do here, but I think I put never just so I could have it there until I feel like taking it off. And I put done. And so if it's not clear, if I bring up another user here, which let's see, let's go with Joanna. And that checkbox to me is important because that's going to show it, you know, right away as soon as someone tries, as it implies, tries to chat with me. So just to make sure that actually works here. But again, as soon as someone's chatting, they'll know, they get that reminder that I've been out, that whatever they're about to talk to me about, they might need to help remind me what's going on. So she comes here to talk to Ricardo. There's my message. Obviously, it would be a nicer one, but that's the status. So that's always going to show when someone's trying to chat with you. So again, that should say, you know, I've been out for 2 weeks, blah, blah, blah. So they can't miss it. I feel like you can't miss that. So that was one of my initial tasks coming back in, is to make sure that was set. I don't think I did not do that in my email. So I turned off my autoresponder for email messages. So they're not getting the benefit of that, but my Teams folks are. And then one other thing that I did, which if there are any developers in the room, you'll probably slap my wrist for this. But I'm going to be vulnerable with you just because I think it's still useful. I have a long-running Power Automate workflow that I have going that does put something in a folder that is based on the year. So every year I do go in and change the year for that Power Automate. Now I was worse before. I actually had it hard coded in the flow. So I'm just going in here just to show you an example of I would go. No, am I in the right place? Yeah. Go into a flow. So just showing you an existing flow, I would go in somewhere in here, and this isn't one that would do it, but actually click into the action that had the year, and I would go change it and then hit save. So that would update my workflow to start using a new folder with a new year. I did wise up, I think in 2022, and added that value to a SharePoint list. And then in my flow, I make the flow go look at that SharePoint list. So for all you developers in the room, I got better. At least there's one place to update. You probably telling me to kind of use like some, date function, But anyway, the reason I'm bringing all this up, though, too, is just to remind us about the power of Power Automate for our personal productivity workflows. And if you do have one that is long running and it's based on a year, then make sure you update your year. So those were my two coming back, at least two of my coming back to office steps that were kind of Teams and Office 365 related that I thought I'd share. Anybody else with any coming back to work Teams related steps? I don't know if you go in and kind of say Happy New Year to everyone in your chat list or anything like that, but anything else out there?
I have one, and no one in the audience is gonna throw one out there. You had Viva Insights up just a minute ago, and I have one resolution, which I am doing great on so far. It's only the 6th of the month, but I am doing the virtual commute at the end of my days, because I found that I really needed to be able to set myself up to start off on the right foot the next time I sat down at my desk. And that has been helpful, just to have the end of the day organized thoughts about how I want to start the next day. Maybe queuing up whatever tasks I've left open for the day, or just making myself some notes. So I'm definitely taking advantage of Viva Insights. I had sort of done that spottily here and there last year because it was a new feature and I wanted to to check it out, but I'm really committed to it because when I do it, I get more done and I'm less scattered. So the virtual commute you can see there on the right side of Ricardo's screen. I mean, if you're already working in an office, this sort of happens naturally. I happen to work from home, so I need that gear shift, and it helps me to do that, to shift my focus back away from work into my family and what I need to be doing in the evenings. So just want to point out Viva Insights and what's built in. That's already there. It's should be accessible to you without issue. Your IT admins do need to enable Viva Insights for Teams, but it's there, it's released, and it's good to go in the government cloud. So hopefully you've been able to take advantage of that. And if not, certainly reach out to your IT admins, because it's not, there's no cost associated with using that, and making it available in Teams means it's easily accessible by you in Teams where we know you spend a lot of time already.
Absolutely. And to add to that, the focus time, which I have been using, I have noticed that Teams is now, you can see it's asking me how I'm feeling, but when I do create focus time, Teams puts a note in the feed to kind of say, let's get ready for your upcoming focus time. So obviously it knows when that's coming. And I like that. It's like an assistant to kind of let me know, remind me that focus time's coming up. And it actually, I think there's a timer or something that it wants to start for me. So, yeah, Teams it feels like it's very much engaged in my well-being, like a coach of some kind.
Yes.
Yeah.
I need all the coaching I can get.
All right. Yeah. Any thoughts or comments out there about any of that stuff?
Hey, Ricardo,
Focus time.
and Stacy. I actually am using Viva as well because I was testing it for our organization. Sorry, my voice is a little scratchy.
That's okay.
One of the things that I like is with the send praise, you can schedule a reminder to send praise to somebody on your team. So I scheduled mine for like Friday afternoon to remind me to send a praise to somebody. And I just think of like each week I just sit there and I think about, well, like who have I collaborated with this week, etc. And it's just a good way to remember to show gratitude and that kind of thing to the people who are helping you get your work done on a daily basis. And, like even just from an employee to employee, like I go up and down the chain, but I just think it helps people feel a little more connected and appreciated.
Yeah.
Especially for
Absolutely.
those of us that are still working from home. So you don't have those moments at the water cooler where you go, hey, thank you for doing this thing for me.
Yeah.
Right. And we should all feel that gratitude regularly, right? So I love setting that reminder that week after week after week, there's going to be somebody to thank. Become the person who's thanking your team very often. It's a good way to start a weekend for sure. That gratitude.
Ricardo, are there some settings for the focus time? You say you're getting notifications. I've been using focus time for quite a while, but it just like shows in my calendar. I don't get anything else. Are you actually getting some activity reminding you of it?
Yes, and could be an internal thing. Let me check something here. I mean, it could be based on my internal bill, but it's a message that says, "Ready to wrap up. It's time to begin your virtual something or other." And as I see it, it's an internal thing. So may or may not. I don't know. It may or may not even hit. So now that I'm looking at it closely, yes, it's an internal reminder. So something to look forward to, but not something that you should
Okay.
be seeing today.
The one other question I had, I've tried a couple times to go to some of the Headspace activities that are available in Insights, and it may be our setup, but it doesn't take it. Does it go out to the web? Because it just spins for me.
Yeah, I would suspect it does. So you never even get like this landing page
No,
here?
we get that, but when you click
Okay.
on it, it just spins.
Okay. Oh, so like this area here.
Right.
Okay, so you never get
We
that.
don't get to we don't get, maybe it's the recorder or the player that's not working. Okay.
But to your point, it probably is, going out to maybe to a different URL that maybe somebody's got on a or not got whitelisted in your org, maybe.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we just recently also put in the MCAS, the Microsoft Cloud Access
Okay.
Security Broker, so that may do it as well.
Yeah.
Or it may just be me. I don't know. So I just wanted to double check. Thanks.
Yeah. But yeah, to Stacy's point, it was an org I was working with that I did remind them, we were in a meeting where employee wellness came up. Teams didn't come up, but employee wellness came up. And then I afterwards reminded them, if that is a new, priority for the org, just reminding you, at no additional cost, you've got some employee wellness. I mean, you may be looking for more, but you've got some employee wellness stuff already baked in. So that was eye-opening for them. Be a nice place for them to start. Good deal. Any other thoughts, comments there? Well, since you're letting me keep talking, I'll keep going, because the other thing that came up just this week, I was having a conversation. We're in this hybrid work world, right? Many of us are fully remote. Some of us are in the office, and some of us are in between. And I was having that conversation with someone who was, we were really talking. Well, they were really more like they have no problem with Teams and tools like Teams, but they were saying, I am really more of a in-person kind of when I want to really get something done, I like going into the office and being in front of people, working literally physically face to face. And so then we started talking about how, how teams can even help still in that scenario. Because, for instance, they like to get up from their desk and go walk over to the other cube to ask the question. I'm not a big fan, even before the Teams and hybrid work, I've never been a big fan of the cube pop in. It seems very jarring if the person's happens to be trying to focus on something that's just very jarring. But I get it, and we've been doing that since forever. I was saying that I think what Teams wants us to do is that when I do want to pop in on Nestor, it's more about a quick, and in this case, I don't have a camera in this demo environment, but in theory, Nestor's green, and I, with one click, hit the camera button. Let's say I know not everybody's a fan of the camera, but with one click, I hit the camera button, and me and Nestor are, here's my air quotes, face to face, talking to each other about whatever. So, yes, I could go physically to this cube, but I could still get a similar approach. And then, of course, if we do need to talk about, let me show you something, I'm one click away from that in terms of the share button to share my screen. They're one click away from taking control of that classic. Well, can I use your mouse? Let me show you something here. All those things that we would do during that desk pop-up. We can kind of get here other than the actual physical, being together. And so, and even as we were talking, we were thinking, that's something that even if you both are in the office, these are some features that you might use. But certainly if you are both remote, kind of getting that experience with a couple clicks in Teams. So that would be Teams, if I put my Teams hat on, that's what it would want you to do. But certainly there may be folks that want to, if they could, ignore all of that and actually go talk to someone. I get it either way. So I don't know if anybody it feels passionately one way or the other on that topic. But certainly for us as Teams champions, that should be part of our response probably to people who are, at least tell them about those options. I don't know if anybody's ever been in that kind of conversation or had that conversation with anyone before.
I would throw one sort of, it's a slight twist on that conversation, and that is, I'm from the State Department, obviously a global organization. Before Teams, before the pandemic, if we were going to call somebody in an embassy around the world, it was a real pain in the butt, right? And we'd have to do conference calls. And now we're that one click away. And, during the pandemic, we allowed cameras where we didn't, and mics where we didn't have them before. So we're turning around and saying, I have immediate contact with people around the world where I never did before.
Yeah.
And so, and I feel more connected to those people. And I can't get that by going into the office. In fact, I'm
Right.
more limited if I go into the office in connecting with those people. So there's a different side to it as well. I think one that's much more positive.
Yeah, absolutely. When your org transcends the a single building, then yes, it's a whole different ball game at that point. I agree. I also think even in a even if your org is one building, um, being able to have a group chat, even group video chat, that's not as easy to pull off, even in the building, right? It's one thing to go to one person's cube, but I don't want to start going to everyone's cube, gathering them, trying to find a conference room, all that kind of thing. So I remember my days in the office and finding a room. That was a challenge. It's still a challenge. I'm sure you out there right now are, saying, hey, nothing's changed there. I still have that challenge.
Right.
But you have to be able to fire up a group chat, turn it into video even. It's cool. And then I know a lot of my customers are getting more Teams rooms going as well. So that helps as well. For those that are, well, I was going to talk about the Columbus, Ohio office, but I don't think anybody. No, actually, we do have some people in this room that are in Ohio. We just got our Teams rooms upgraded in the Columbus, Ohio Microsoft office. So if you ever need to check that out, let me know. Probably Stacy on your end. That office probably same way, but yeah, trying to meet the needs of the hybrid workplace is it's very interesting.
Glenn has his hand up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, hi. Before COVID and before Teams, California State University Sacramento and California State University Chico were doing combination classes of people in the classroom and people at remote locations using closed circuit TV and telephones.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what we are doing at work is we're putting an oversized flat screen monitor in computer labs and conference rooms and a camera so that people, same deal, but we're using Teams now, so that people can be in the room and they can see and communicate with people who are teleworking and working remotely. So they can have a meeting at work and include people who are off-site, and we can all see each other and talk to each other, and it's working very well.
Nice.
Awesome. Yeah. That is awesome. And as we do those things, I mean, I again, the challenge there is for everybody to kind of be on the same footing. And by that, I mean, you don't want remote workers to have to suffer from the experience that the physical folks are doing. And I think that's part of what Teams rooms are trying to do with the front room experience and all that. You want to make sure they feel as much a part of the experience as everyone else. Case in point, I talked about the rooms in our Columbus office being upgraded. One of the upgrades is several microphones throughout the room, all the way to the back, such that you may think because you're in the back of the room, you can have a little whisper conversation with someone in the back. Those microphones are picking up everything. So the remote users, they were getting the benefit of any side conversations. They were able to hear them crystal clear. So I really like that, because that's what I tend to see sometimes is meetings that have remote folks. And then you get a lot of those side whispers in the room. And to the remote person, it just sounds like a bunch of noise and chatter. With the right microphones, I'm all in your business at that point, even as a remote user. So So yeah, but that's just something sometimes we may forget as the people physically in the room that, you know, our remote users, if they were here, you know, how would my side conversation, you know, would that be disruptive to them, and or would they want to be involved? So I don't want to leave anybody out. So those are kind of things we have to think about in these hybrid environments.
Well, also in settings, we found a noise suppression that you can turn that on high and it screens out barking dogs in the background and family members washing dishes in the background.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, you get everything from off to high. So that plus, you know, whatever your device, your headset or microphone might be doing. I've certainly been in meetings where people were sure their background noise was disrupting the meeting. And in fact, we were saying, no, we don't hear a thing, you know, so that's good. What I haven't played with, I don't know if anybody's out there's played with the music related. I mean, there are settings here for, and it might be for like maybe education, like a music class or something, but to be able to hear the music in the room, I haven't played with that. I feel like that might be nice. Before the meeting starts, have some nice jazz in the background or something. But I don't know if anybody's ever played with the high fidelity music mode or anything, or knows how well that works. But
So,
it's not. Go ahead.
Ricardo, I will tell you, we did a little bit of testing with that high fidelity music mode. I know Brandon turned it on a couple of times with me, and when I have my headset on, it literally blows me away. I have to like throw my headphones off because the sound gets so loud. But when he tested it with somebody that didn't use headphones, it didn't do that. So like he had to warn me before turning it on because it hurt my ears. Like I
Wow.
literally had to like throw my headphones off.
Yeah.
So just, fair warning. Hopefully they're still working on that feature.
I should have known Brandon would try it. He's probably trying to play some guitar lick or something for you.
Well, even just him talking, it just
Yeah.
like the sound level went from like 0 to 100 immediately, and it just blew my ears out.
Wow.
Well, that's one of the good thing about the music is that the music can play in the background while the presenter is speaking in the foreground, and they can be setting up the meeting and saying, please, everybody do this or do that while the music is playing while people are entering the meeting. And I like that.
Just tell Brandon to turn his speakers down, I guess. Yeah. Good stuff.
So I threw in the chat the service health post that was done about the webinar and it missing from the Teams desktop client. We talked about that mid-December as something that we saw. I think, Ricardo, you were demonstrating, and we tested it because one of the participants that week during our call said, "What happened to my webinar scheduling thing? You still have that affecting you?" They have tested the fix. They're validating the fix, and they've said in the updated service health post that they anticipate it being fully published through everywhere by January the 10th. So if yours is missing from that Teams desktop client, you can schedule your webinar still through the web client and test it again on January the 11th. And if you're still not seeing it, feel free to report back here to us. But it is something that is a known issue, and they're working on sending out that fix now.
Yeah. Just checking my web client, and yep, it is there for the web client. So that's good.
And Tim asked about a channels 2.0 option under settings.
Yeah, and I didn't know that. So I don't know if your client is on preview. Or I'm surprised that has gotten out. I've certainly tried that as well. So yes, maybe next session we can talk about that, because that is some cool stuff. If for those that haven't seen it, so okay, not in GCC, but it's a click box. It's basically we actually talked about this a few sessions back, some of the up and coming things that one of the blog posts mentioned, but some up and coming changes to how channels are structured and behave. And as of right now, as it's previewing or rolling out, they are rolling out apparently this option to turn it on or off to try it out. So the biggest change, for instance, being seeing chats go from newest to oldest, top to bottom, as opposed to bottom to top, and some other kind of things. So maybe we can try to get a GCC date for that, and then maybe even try to demo some things with that next time. But there are some interesting changes coming there that could be worth talking about. So thanks for mentioning that one. Awesome. Well, we are at time. Okay, and in the chat, Glenn's putting an example of what he's seeing. Oh, well, that's for the noise suppression. Okay, gotcha. So yeah, we're at time here. Glad to again chat with you guys. Be here every Friday now. Our little hiatus is over. So we will see you here next week. Same time, same channel. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe and check out the blog for more content.